Hello and welcome to Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Hippopotan.
Hippopotas? What is it?
Hippopotas?
Hippopotas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
AKA Tanner Greenring. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Chatosh.
Chatot, sweetie.
AKA Joshua Fjellstead. And we are joined as only once so far by Garaferic.
Oh, Garaferic.
That's good. I like that.
AKA
That's a good one.
Eric Silver.
Hello, that's me.
Hello.
I named myself Eggs.
Your character's name is Eggs.
My character's name is Eggs, correct.
I'm gonna take note of that. Couple of questions about Eggs.
Yeah.
Why is he named Eggs?
Okay, great. Eggs is the name that we use on our stream. See, I'm getting the plug in early, but I threaded it in and nobody even noticed.
Smart.
I've been streaming with my partner Amanda as House Breakfast, and we just came up with Eggs because it was fun to do breakfast type Pokemon. We're streaming Ruby, and seeing random NPCs and trainers call you Eggs is the single greatest joy in my life right now. It's like, what? Eggs? Great battle. They're like, yes, my name is Eggs, and I kicked your ass. I'm a 10-year-old named Eggs.
Did you spell it in all caps as well, so they're screaming all the time?
Eggs! Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Eggs!
Sounds like a Pokemon call. It's like Executors, the call. Eggs! Second question.
Yeah.
Please do not go into the team in depth right now, but
Okay.
do the curtains match the drapes?
Ordinarily, I would have named them all after breakfast foods, but I named them all with Z's and X's because I wanted to really connect with my youngest self and use letters that never get used.
Oh, sure.
So there's just lots of Z's and X's everywhere, except for one Pokemon named Catfish, and I will not tell you what Pokemon it is.
Tough to figure out.
Eric, I would love it if you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're coming from, why you have such a professional podcasting rig surrounding you.
We're both outclassed.
All of that kind of stuff.
Ooh, I wanted to impress you, and I wanted you guys to think I was cool by being a professional podcaster, because that's what passes for cool when men in their late 20s and 30s talk to each other over Zoom.
Especially in Brooklyn.
Hey, Greenpoint, baby! We're more than just Polish people. I'm the head of creative at Multitude, which is a podcast collective and studio out here in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I'm also the dungeon master of Join the Party, a very fun 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Right now, we're doing like a superhero, modern-inspired one because fantasy is bumming me out right now. And also, I do the streaming, and I love Pokemon, and that's what I'm doing here. And I love going in front of microphones and talking to you guys.
We just talked about this last week, but Josh and I had a very fun D&D game for a long time, and it has fizzled out. But
thanks, COVID-19.
I will say that the scheduling is the biggest monster in D&D, and then slightly below is the fantasy racism and sexism and anti-Semitism that's in the fantasy genre. But they're really close to each other.
Right.
Back to the matter at hand, which is Pokemon.
Absolutely. You know, I actually
played some Pokemon this week.
I actually know someone who's running a Pokemon D&D session right now. They're doing like a mystery dungeon thing.
That sounds so cool.
And do they play as trainers?
They're playing as Pokemon, so they're doing like a mystery dungeon thing. Ugh. So like they are like, the embodied spirits of Pokemon.
Is there a rule book around Pokemon?
There is like a 5th edition Pokédex bopping around somewhere.
I would have fun with that. It'd be like, oh, I enter the room, I see Lopunny.
Oh, God.
I prepare my kissing lips.
Redacted.
I roll a d20 to prepare my kissing lips. That sounds like fun. I would love to play a Pokemon role-playing game.
I'd love to just play D&D at all at this point.
Although I do not know if I would have a lot of fun playing one modeled after the Mystery Dungeons, because Josh and I famously did not have a good time with the first Mystery Dungeon game, to the point that we alienated Pokemon series translator, who followed us on Twitter and then promptly unfollowed us and blocked us.
Because we didn't like it.
Yeah.
I hear they're not great, so I think you're okay.
I think it seems like it's the most divisive side game series in the canon. It seems like everyone loves it or they hate it.
We ended last week in Veilstone City, taking on Maylene, the fighting type, in Veilstone Gym. Eric, you were playing through Diamond, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. I probably didn't read the email correctly, and I got an emulator for Diamond. So
that's fine. I think it's going to create a little bit of spiciness.
We need that perspective.
But did you fight Maylene at Veilstone last week?
So Maylene is number 3 in Diamond, then Crasher Wake is number 4, then Fatina is number 5 in Hearthstone.
Oh,
there is so much backtracking in this goddamn game. I can see why they changed shit up.
Wow. We're going to have no common ground. This is going to be chaos this entire episode.
Wait, are they located in their, like, Veilstone is not, like, Maylene doesn't live there? Or she does?
No, Maylene lives in Veilstone, Crasher Wake lives in Pastoria, and Fatina lives in Hearthhome. So, like, the way that this
so
works...
you have to go... Oh, my God.
Exactly. It's so much backtracking, and I kind of stopped playing at Ruby when I was a kid. And so I never had a DS. So playing this, I'm just like, this is all over the place. What's happening? And I'm like, oh, that's why they made Platinum and Emerald and all of these remakes to fix this wild shit that they put together.
Right.
I went to Hearthhome like a while ago, and then I couldn't fight Fatina, and then I did so much stuff, and then I did all the stuff that you guys did, like we went to the hotels and we walked around the water and all that stuff, and then I had to go back to Hearthhome.
That's so brutal.
So yeah, we beat Maylene. We beat Veilstone Gym. Apparently Eric beat it
at varying
some time
points.
ago.
Yeah.
Then we, Josh and I at least, made our way down Route 214. Yeah. Route 214 is kind of this maze. It's really irritating. Like, you just kind of walk around. There's a lot of tall grass. You can't use your bike in it.
Picket
There's
fences.
Like literal fences that like trap you in and make you go through a maze. And of course, tons of psychics and collectors and beauties and whatnot on this route.
Psychics were a little out of place, I'd say.
I like some of their mon. It was cool to see a Chingling in the wild.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually got to see one in the wild, other than when you battled with Mr. Aviles.
Kind of an ugly little Pokemon.
I do like, though, because of the animations... And Eric, this is another question. Are they still animated in Diamond?
Oh, yeah.
Or they usually do that in the third one?
Like, how animated was it?
It goes like this. Bah! And it's got a little bell ringer in its mouth that you can see jingling around.
As it's like tonsil.
Oh, I would have been haunted by that. I did not see that, no.
I was really taken aback by that with the Chingling.
Were you guys running after a galactic grunt the entire time?
No.
Oh.
Down 214?
Oh, so I was running down 213, and then I went to 210 with like the hotels and shit.
Oh, you approached from Hearthhome?
Yeah, so I did the exact opposite of what you did because I went from Wake to Hearthhome. Yeah.
Wow.
But you've seen Route 214, presumably.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember going around.
We got the Maniac tunnel.
Ugh. I want to talk about Beauty Devon real quick, who has got 3 different Wormadoms.
Oh, yeah, the different, like, species of them.
I'm curious about Wormadom. It's like Rotom in that it can take on different aspects.
Ooh.
She had one that looked like a grass, and one that looks like a rock, and then one that looks like a... I guess... It's called Trash
I mean, it's
Cloak.
Pink,
but
yeah, I thought it was like springtime, but it's trash.
It looks like a pile of trash. I think so.
And it's steel type.
What's interesting about this is that one comes from Black and White when they go to Unova, which is the United States, and there's so much trash Pokemon which they made just for New York. Hey, baby, full of trash. Fuck you. We put our trash outside and no one's picked it up because of the snow. Hey,
I roll around in it.
Yeah, so like the trash one was made for Black and White, so I think it's fun like seeing that it was pulled back into Platinum because I didn't see any of that.
That is interesting.
Oh, because they were developing it for Black and White.
Right, exactly.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this rune Maniac, Joshua? I will admit now, I went into the ruin.
Yeah.
I saw that this guy was in there. He wanted to do something. I went and looked it up to see if it was worth my time, and it said that the reward for doing this little quest and digging down into the cave was more Unown Pokemon.
Yeah, it's
so
never ending with these things.
Good, I'm good on that one, and I took off. But did you do it?
Oh, absolutely not. I just went in there because the TM for dig is in there.
Yeah.
It's just a tiny cave entrance. You talk to this psycho he challenges you to a race to see if he can pick away at this ruin faster than you can collect all of the unknown. And that's not a good deal for anyone involved, to be honest. You have to get 26 of them at Salacion
ruins, right?
Because there's one for everyone in the alphabet. And then what you get is 2 more, and it's an exclamation point and a question mark.
Well,
What?
I don't want any of them.
What am I doing with that? Here's a question mark.
Yeah.
Why would I want that?
That is a good question mark.
Hey, you guys want to hear a really terrible fact about Pokemon world building that has to do with the unknown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call them Unown.
Oh, the Unown. I'm so sorry. I've come into your house. I've mispronounced it. I'm so sorry. I didn't even take off my shoes when I came in. I'm so sorry. So you know, hey, do you think back to world history you might have learned in middle school and high school? You know, the history of writing goes all the way back to Mesopotamia, like thousands and thousands of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Pokemon universe, writing was developed off of the Unown, you know how they represent English letters. Writing was only developed 1,500 years ago in the Pokemon world. So
What?
Pokemon Jesus apparently existed before writing did.
Yeah, it was a spoken tradition back then. It was beautiful, you know? Like, that's where some of our greatest stories came from.
Just the folk tradition of Pokemon Jesus.
We've talked about this a little bit before, but like there's this whole fan theory that like language developed in the Pokemon world based on Pokemon calls. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we associate the word char with fire because Charmander says Charmander.
I mean, if language came for if the literal letters came from Pokemon, that totally supports it. But I also feel like the Pokemon world building is kind of like your relationship with someone you went to summer camp with. Like, you just pick it up randomly every once in a while. They're like, oh, we got to do this again. Yeah, Arceus is the divine creator. Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah, and those 2 other before, those are his kids. All right. Well, I'll see you next June. All right, I'm going to grow 3 inches and have a beard. See you later.
It's certainly not Tolkien.
They do that with like the Reggies too, where they like add the dragon one, and then they added 2 more recently.
Right.
No one likes the Reggies. Stop adding Reggies.
Like, Regigigas has the number of like dots on it that correspond with the number of Reggies that there are. So how do you explain not having any for these other 2?
Alternate timelines, Josh. Read a comic book.
Regigigas created all the other Reggies, so like they needed to give divine inspiration to these other Pokemon because of the Ultra Beasts and whatever the fuck the Ultra Beasts are. There's this idea that like Black and White was a soft reboot, so it's like they kind of left the cosmology of the first 4 games and then did the Reggie stuff. So it's like they're totally ignoring the fact that they created literal God, and then they kind of like put themselves into a weird sort of like science fiction hole once they started dealing with Unova, and it's just so complicated.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Now, you had me at Ultra Beasts.
Oh, they're a mess, man.
They're aliens, I guess. They're not even. I can't even.
Yeah, isn't it like an alternate dimension or something?
Yeah.
They're from Ultra Space.
Well, sure, yeah.
Which is like better space.
Of course.
What game is that? That's the Hawaii one?
It's Alola.
Yeah, I think so. I don't like that there's a bug who's also a jacked man. That's my least favorite thing.
What did you just say? There's a bug that's a jacked man?
Yeah. Someone will know what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow. Buzzswole.
Yeah, he's a jacked man.
He's like a mosquito with muscles.
It's so gross. I hate it.
Let me check his body type. Oh, no, he's the octopus
No, that
type.
would be a good drinking buddy for you.
No, he's not a man.
It's not even from this dimension or reality.
His shape is octopus. Which is confusing.
I like that Zerka tree, the like electric.
Joshua, we will get to the Ultra Beasts when we play through Sun and Moon.
I'm sorry.
We can't blow our wads on Ultra Beasts right now.
I feel like I showed you Titanic when at your house you weren't allowed to watch Titanic because it had boobs in it.
It's like you showed me Titanic while I was on the Titanic. It's like 1912.
Yeah, I know what happened.
This movie, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Wait, what was that about how many lifeboats there were? Can you rewind?
No, don't worry about it. This is the cute part. They're on a door. Steve Zahn's there. Don't worry about it.
There's plenty of room for both of them. So Maniac Tunnel is a bust. We're not going in there. We're not catching
Not touching
Unowns. But we're back in Route 214. It's a long route, Joshua.
Yeah.
I noticed you had something to say about Route 214, and I have something to say about it too. And I want to let you start.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're trying to hijack a segment here.
It just came to me naturally, though. Like, I was pleased and not at all surprised to see your note here as well. Collector Brady is collecting some gross stuff.
He's collecting some things that make me want to barf.
Just as soon as you see it, you want to shove it back in the Pokeball. The Carnivine.
It's like a joke, and it's my You Make Me Barf Pokemon of the week.
my
And Josh was
God.
trying to steal my segment. It's like a joke Pokemon. It's like they made a joke Pokemon. They're like, let's make a bad Pokemon that looks like shit.
Just total shit. It reminded me of, for some reason, and I think it was, again, it's a Saturday night revelation, so, take it with a grain of salt, but I was like, this thing looks like Mayor McCheese from, like, 1970s McDonald's commercials.
It does.
Absolutely looks like Mayor McCheese.
Like, it's a fucking mess.
Ugh.
It's disgusting.
Does it evolve in anything?
No.
This is it. Oh, God.
They just created it, and they were like, that's good.
It's also the octopus type.
Ship it.
Relevant to you guys, this is the bug catcher Pokemon.
Yes. Oh, God.
Oh, see. Well, that must be why we don't like it. It's eating our fan base.
Well, our fan base is bug catchers, too. It's competition with our fan base.
Oh, I thought you were looking
that's
into the void, and the void stared back at you with googly Mayor McCheese eyes.
God, it sucks.
Oh.
It sucks. It's like a joke.
It's a disgusting Venus flytrap, and then it's just got, like, I mean, how do you say this one? Like Cthulhu, like fucking legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate this thing.
I don't like that it's 4 feet tall and weighs 60 pounds. I don't like that.
God, that's
like the
bad,
size
too.
of a large dog.
And
It
its
is.
abilities levitate, so that means it is floating around.
Wait, why
as
does
well.
it float? It's a plant.
God, and it's just grass type. What is this thing?
It's
I'm sorry that Tanner entered the chat so hard after hearing that.
I don't get why it levitates. That's nonsense to me. It's got feet. I can see its feet. It's got little tentacles.
Too many, in fact.
Yeah.
Here's what's weird. In the Heart Gold and Soul Silver Pokedexes, my favorite place to be is Bulbapedia because, like the world building I was talking about, it's absolute nonsense. It has no continuity. So the Heart Gold Soul Silver Pokedex says it walks around on its tentacles in search of a tree branch where it can dangle down and ambush prey. Okay, but you're saying that it's walking, then why does it levitate?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. There's no fucking consistency.
And why
in
would
these
it need
games.
to like hang from a tree if it can?
I mean,
float?
maybe that's what it means by levitation. It's always hanging from a tree.
But I think it doesn't make sense that it would have to walk around at all.
Yeah.
It's just gonna hover around in a tree.
Well, I've got to back up You Make Me Barf because you did steal my You Make Me Barf, Josh.
Oh, okay. So you have to do double barf.
Yeah, and it's in Maniac Tunnel.
Oh, okay.
And it's hippopotamus.
Really?
Yeah, you like hippopotamus?
No, I didn't think it was that bad.
Hippopotamus? I think it looks dumb.
It has the mouth thing when it comes out too, where it does a big yawning like alp.
Yeah.
I think it looks dumb.
I think Hippowdon looks cool, but I think Hippopotamus looks like a bad, 70s cartoon.
It does kind of look like an animal that would be encouraging you to not do drugs.
Sure. Yeah.
I did drugs just once, and my mouth looks like this.
All right. So then we continue heading southward, and we're at the Valor Lakefront, but not really. Like, I feel like the Lakefront is a bigger set piece later in the game, but
Yeah, we can't actually make it to Lake Valor yet because there's a couple of Team Galactic, presumably stooges,
yeah, post it up.
blocking it off.
But there's a little village here. It looks like Mykonos.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
I was thinking Santorini, but
The Sublime song?
I don't. Yeah, practice Santorini. Yeah, that's
Man,
it.
I haven't smoked.
It's all Greek. It's all Greek to me.
Yeah.
but that's what it looks like for sure.
I haven't smoked Tangela since that Santorini concert. I got too faded, man.
I think I'm thinking of Santorini. I don't know if I know what Mykonos actually is.
It's the
except
one
for
with all the blue domes that's on the coast of
Yeah. That's what I mean.
A mountainous
Mykonos is just
island.
another place. Oh no, Mykonos has blue
Probably
roofs too.
both.
Oh, okay, so this is where I think we kind of converge a little bit, because I remember coming here, and at one point, then Cynthia came to me and was like, here, take this super potion. My mom needs your help. And then that's when all the Psyducks ran away.
Okay.
When all the angry Psyducks were blocking my path. And then I went to like a tiny town that definitely was where like old people went to ease their bones. And then
like Celestia or something?
Yeah, and then I went to Celestia, and then I had to go all the way back to Hearthhome and then fight the ghost lady.
Wow.
Okay. I believe we're getting that potion probably at the beginning of the next leg for us. I think it happens after we try to leave Pastoria.
That makes sense.
What a confounding series of events.
It's like we're in an alternate dimension.
Yeah, because I went up Route 213, and I also got really confused because these old games give you no context of where the fuck you're supposed to go. So I looked up so many walkthroughs. So I went the wrong way here before, and then I got lost on the way to Crasher Wake in the first place. So I remember coming here and being like, oh, this is a nice hotel, but they definitely don't want me here. And then I came back and did all this stuff coming up the same way.
I mean, they didn't want us there either. They make it quite clear that there's nothing to do here.
Well, we're the riffraff. They don't want us there.
Like, you run into one lady who's like, I lost my hotel key. Can you? If only I had a dowsing machine.
Oh, I ignored that.
And then you go to the hotel and you like start to poke around with your dowsing machine, but like, there's nothing there.
Oh, I found it.
You found the hotel key?
Did you not find it?
No, I tried for like half an hour.
Yeah, it's a sweet key.
I kept getting like a little ping on my dowsing machine, but like it seemed to be in the building. It was very confusing.
I think it's like right on the back exit, because she says that she knew she had it when she left the reception desk or something.
Oh, I tried for a while and I just could not find the hotel key. But you don't need it. Did it do anything? What did it do?
Actually, this is a difference too. Apparently you get a lava cookie in Diamond and Pearl, but you get a white flute in Platinum, which is much better.
What's a white flute do?
You play it, and then it causes like more Pokemon to come out, like when you're in grass.
Nice.
That's cool.
The walkthrough I said skip it because it was dumb, so I skipped it because it was dumb.
Yeah. No, it was. It is dumb.
Especially if you're just getting a lava cookie.
You're right for skipping it. And there's also a restaurant here called 7 Stars Restaurant, which is like this.
Oh my God, the restaurant. The restaurant was ridiculous. Did you see the couples who were eating at this restaurant were the most mismatched people? It's like they all were on a date from Next. Remember MTV's Next, where they're like all those people were on the bus and there was one person and like you could reject them.
Yeah.
So it was like they were all on one of those like contrived dates put together because one of them jumped out and said like, "Hey, my name's Braden, never learned how to read, and I only wakeboard as my only mode of transportation." And like they were on one of those dates, and then you had to fight all of them.
And it does have a speed dating setup too. It's like tables, and it's always a couple. Although on some nights, so it changes. It's open from like 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., I think. And then some days, like I played again today, actually, it will rotate who they are. So today I actually got like the son and daughter of the chef, and then like a couple of like TV crew people. But it is mostly couples.
I also got the TV crew people.
And they all hate each other for the most part.
In my head, there were like 3 out of 5 of them were like old men and young women.
That's right.
And I don't know if I'm just misremembering it, but I'm just like...
That's about right.
That's another MTV show. You remember the one where the dude would date the mom?
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
It's the same. It's a similar premise. It's called Date My Dad.
Yeah.
We're going to look back on that era of MTV someday, and we're going to think of it as like the golden era of MTV.
Oh, have you guys seen the schedule of what MTV looks like now?
No idea.
No.
Oh my! So okay, I am not joking. I still watch MTV. I love MTV's The Challenge. I watch every single Wednesday. It's a big deal to me. So I've looked into this a lot. If you look at a photo of their schedule, 97% of MTV are episodes of ridiculousness. That's it.
God. That's Rob
that is
Dyrdek, is that right?
Yeah. That's it. That's all that's there. Like, I'll send you a screenshot. There was one going around on Twitter recently that had this, and like it's color coded. So it's like MTV's The Challenge is like one 1 hour and a half slot. There was like one, sometimes they run a movie, and it's like gray and blue and whatever, and it's little ones. And then it's just a sea of orange, which is ridiculousness.
How could it even... 616 episodes of that?
Yeah.
You know, when you strike gold, why mess with a winning formula? You know, like, I'm looking at the calendar right now, Eric, and I'm just kind of going through a little bit and seeing what's on MTV, and there's literally 3 shows. It's Ridiculousness, which is on all the time.
Yeah.
Every now and then there's a Catfish, the TV show.
Right.
And then even less often there's something called Ghosted.
Wow.
Ghosted, which is a spinoff of MTV's Catfish with Rachel Lindsay from The Bachelorette.
And then occasionally they have like some piece of new programming like The Challenge.
It's wild to me because they have premieres. Like, there are 5 premieres per week. Like, MTV's The Challenge. I think Teen Mom OG comes on. They still have like every so often on
Still
weekends.
got Teen Mom.
The OG Teen Moms. And then they do have like some programming of music videos, I think. So there's still like 5 premieres a week, but it's still all ridiculousness.
Yeah.
All of it.
I can admit I've never seen a second of it. I did watch, I think like my death throes with MTV back when I was in my 20s was probably one of the last things I watched was Robin Big.
Oh, Robin Big. That was fun.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I have some context, but not much.
Man, R.I.P. Big Black.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Now everyone's going to have to look up Big Black.
Joshua,
What?
7 Stars Restaurant, anything notable in here for you?
Yeah, on one of those dates, I encountered a Pokemon that I would have liked not to take
To
on.
date?
Yeah. To have on my team, I would love to catch one of these because it's a beautiful exotic fish Pokemon, Finian.
Oh, sure. Right. It is a beautiful exotic fish Pokemon. Do you want to explain to Eric and the bug catchers what your character's premise is?
Yeah, I'm Bree Van Durr. So she felt right at home in a 7-star kind of establishment like this because she's very sophisticated.
Steve Human thought it was a little hoity-toity, right? It's like, I got to wear shoes?
Like,
They stopped him at the door.
you don't have Coors Light in here?
Yeah.
So if you were on Next, it would have been like, "What's up? My name's Revander, and if that's a fancy fish, I'ma kiss it."
Oh,
That
yeah.
is what Josh would be like on that show, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, was this a difference between Diamond and Platinum? Was there, after you did that, was it weird when you went into their houses and looked at their bedrooms for a MTV Room Raiders sort of thing? Was that in Platinum?
You use the black light to see if there's like fluid anywhere.
Yeah, there was a guy who turned out to be one of the Game Freak directors, and he really didn't appreciate the black light.
Yeah.
I didn't like what I saw either.
They love to throw the Game Freak directors in these
I didn't
these
like
games.
that. I didn't like when I went through his sock drawer and he had Voltorbs in there. That felt rude. I don't want to date a person like that.
No way.
Joshua, we've beaten the Valor Lakefront. We've gone to the 7 Stars restaurant. We're headed south towards the disgusting Great Marsh, the Dead Marsh.
Oh my god. This Great Marsh, yeah.
But first we have to make our way through Route 213. What did you find on Route 213, Josh? I would love for you to tell me.
Well, I found
After this break.
Yeah.
Welcome back, bug catchers. Welcome back, Joshua. Welcome back, Eric, to the podcast.
What's up? I'm Eric. I'm 19 years old, and both my feet look like Snorlax. I'm gonna kiss her. Yeah.
The 19 years you've been on this earth have been pretty rough on you, Eric.
Listen, the guys in the bus, they're my best friends, except for my Snorlax, which, as I said, my feet are the same as that Snorlax.
We make our way down
Well, tell you-
Route 213.
Tell you a guy. Yeah, tell you a guy who'd like to check out those Snorlax feet.
Who's that?
Dr. Footsteps.
Yes, Dr. Footsteps. What an interesting character, Dr. The very first thing you run into on Route 213 is a little house on the beach.
Yeah.
And there's a man there called Dr. Footsteps.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh.
He's taken a break from moderating fur affinity so that he can analyze your Pokemon's footsteps to tell you how much they like you.
Before you go too far in this is a trainer danger for Dr. Footsteps.
Trainer danger, absolutely.
I mean, the name alone is like trouble.
This guy's a nightmare. He wants he asks that your lead Pokemon step out onto the ground in his house is sand.
Yeah.
Is that what we're to believe?
I think so.
And he wants...
But the screen goes dark for a moment after when he's examining their feet.
That he requires total concentration. He turns off all the lights. He puts on a white noise machine.
It's the sound of the ocean waves.
And he just sort of like gets in the vibe, like he's sitting there, he's looking at the footprints.
Mm-hmm.
He requires everyone to be completely naked.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You just have to connect to your raw, like, essential self,
And is that what he does in Diamond as well?
Yeah.
The naked part?
I did not remember his...
Or is that a platinum edition?
I did not remember his name was Dr. Footsteps. I didn't know what was happening. I stumbled in there and my Haunter was out front. And then he's like, hey, fuck you, kid. Why'd you bring a Pokemon that didn't have any feet? And I'm like, excuse me.
He hates that.
Excuse me.
I had my Rosalia in the front of the party when I went in. And he was pretty interested in her feet.
I mean, I had Lopunny up front. Ooh. And I had to grab Lopunny and run out of there. Like,
it's not a safe place.
No, and he somehow in his methods, his quote unquote methods, he is able to determine how happy the Pokemon is.
Right, friendship level.
With you.
If you do have a Pokemon with a high friendship, he will give you the footprint ribbon.
Rude.
I still don't totally understand what the ribbon mechanism is in these games.
It's like another contest thing. They can wear the ribbons to like make them look more beautiful or whatever.
Okay. Because there's like a whole screen on
but it's got a little foot on
the Pokemon summary. There's a whole screen that is like their ribbon awards, but I have yet to earn a ribbon.
Well, if you want to impress Dr. Footstep, you just got to max out the happiness on your Pokemon.
I mean, I think
your friendship on
I've
your
got
Pokemon.
a couple of Pokemon are pretty high friendship because they've both evolved because of high friendship, but apparently not high enough for Dr. Footprint.
He has really high standards and distinct standards, let me just say.
Gross. Make our way down Route 213 further. There's a city called Pastoria City, which is where we're going to end up, right? This is the end of our journey.
It's where we end up, at least, on Platinum, yeah.
Well, that's where we end up, right? There's this other kind of big set piece here, which is the Great Marsh.
Yeah, it's like Safari Zone style, where it's like in the north of town.
Right.
It's got a cute little, like one of those murals with the hole in it where you can put your character in there, which I thought was like a nice
Is it
touch.
always the same Pokemon? Mine was a Krogunk.
Oh my god. Bree Durr was trying to get a fucking Krogunk.
Oh, was she?
And I could not find
Yeah.
a single one of these things.
That's because it's not a Pokemon.
Krogunk is a man.
Bree Durr is interested in catching Pokemon, right?
Yeah, beautiful, exotic Pokemon.
But Krogunk is not a Pokemon. Krogunk is a human man.
Krogunk does look like a man.
Well, now thank God I didn't catch it.
Krogunk does look like a man that got cursed by a witch in a fairy tale.
She's like, I'm going to turn you into a frog, but she sort of like lost interest halfway through the sentence, so he's like half frog, half man.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah, that's more human than like half your team, so
Yeah.
you're right.
Krogunk and Toxicroak are both men, and I met up with them.
That's a good one.
Steve Human met up with them in the Great Marsh, and we're hanging. We had some drinks. Dude can hang. He's got this fun party trick where he makes his throat all big. It's pretty sick.
Right. He can hold even more beer in there.
Yeah, and if you lick his back, you'll get high as a kite. I did catch a Krogunk here, Josh.
I mean, honestly, I didn't think that was a human. I guess I could have checked, but I'm glad I didn't catch it. I tried, because that was on my list too, but I couldn't get it.
Krogunk also feels like someone in a heist movie who, like, the main guy's like, man, I know that we need a demolitions expert, but this guy's loco. And then it's Krogunk.
Oh man, 100%.
I think he's kind of cute.
I do too. I think it's cool. I think Toxicroak's cool, and I think Krogunk's kind of a sweet.
Toxicroak is pretty cool. I like his little fin. I like his little like poison finger.
And he's got that like Velociraptor kind of claw, it looks like too.
Krogunk is just like a dang sweetie.
Looks kind of like a dum-dum, but he's got a good heart.
Yeah, he's a fighty boy, but he's like also he's got these big buck teeth. Gosh. Well, and you stole my segment, Josh. So I'm going to steal your segment. Krogunk is my sweetie this week.
Oh, now you're going to have a Tanny sweetie. Okay.
This week, yeah.
Well, I agree.
Thank you.
I can build on that with the Pokédex entry.
Oh, go for it.
The Pokédex entry for Krogunk and Shield is, once diluted, its poison becomes medicinal. This Pokemon came into popularity after a pharmaceutical company chose it as a mascot.
Wait,
what?
That implies that there's pharmaceutical companies in the Pokemon universe.
When are we going to meet the pharmaceutical company? Or is that like a Silphco or Devincorp offshoot?
Could be any of those.
That's interesting.
Here's the thing. I cannot help you. I cannot help you with that.
That's the extent of your knowledge on this.
Well, let's talk about Great Marsh for a second, just in general.
Let's talk about Great Marsh.
I loved the design.
Yeah.
It's regions or areas like Safari Zone.
Yep.
And you can get around on this cool train. So you can like choose an area that you want to go to. And the reason you do that is because there's like binoculars that you can use. You pay a little money and then you look in the binoculars and then it will like highlight a Pokemon and like a tile set that it's by. And the Pokemon is like relatively rare. So it's like Yanmas and like Krogunks, which is what I was looking for. And then you have to find that little like tile set and then you can catch it. The drawback is, first of all, you have to do that a bunch of times and you pay for it. And then you might not even see the Pokemon you want. And then also most of this is marsh. It's Great Marsh. And like the mud is a fucking nightmare to navigate.
If you try to take one step into the deep mud, you sink down and you have to wiggle your little sticks to try to get out.
Yeah, you like rotate around the D-pad.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Trying to get out.
I hated that. That was the worst.
They also changed the mechanics once again.
Yeah.
The Safari Zone mechanics change so much game to game. I mean, they don't change at all, but like they change the name of everything. So in this one, you can still throw a Safari Ball.
Right.
You can still throw bait. But now, instead of throwing, what was in the first game? Rocks?
You had rocks. Yeah, you threw rocks in the first gen. Yeah.
Rude.
But they've gone back to throwing things at Pokemon, and it's mud now.
Oh, yeah, you're mudslinging.
Yeah, you throw mud at them.
It's just coating these Pokemon in mud.
Which
is...
Yeah, it's the opposite
they
of bait.
live in the mud.
It makes them easier to catch, but it also makes them more likely to run away. So that's the Great Marsh. It's the Safari Zone of this game. It's fun.
Yeah.
We had fun with it.
I still enjoyed it. Yeah.
Did you catch anything notable in there, either of you?
2 Whoopers. Because I was forced to. It was an accident. I didn't even want them. I released them. Bree does not want a fucking Whooper.
I think,
and nor do her clients.
Axolotls are pretty unique, pretty rare, pretty exotic.
Too slimy.
I did not do this because I had to play 60% of an RPG in 2 weeks.
Oh, fair.
That is fair.
Welcome to our life.
Yeah. So yeah, we make our way through here, and then we're in Pastoria. We're in Pastoria proper,
the downtown. Yeah.
There's nothing. Every single one of these levels we've encountered so far, there's something preventing you from getting into the gym.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the like trainer is off doing something, or someone is blocking the door, or something. But this is the first gym you've encountered where there's just nothing in the way. You can just go and battle Crash or Wake.
Don't you run into Bad
Josh does assault you.
Ray Produce.
Yeah.
He makes this crazy announcement. I mean, obviously he slams into you and then he's like, I'm Crash or Wake is my master now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's decided to take up.
He's got a dungeon master.
He's his mentor. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's learning under Crash or Wake, which is confusing because Crash or Wake doesn't seem very interested in him. And also, Crash or Wake doesn't seem like a very good role model.
No, he's sort of like a rollicking like disaster.
Yeah, a little bit.
If a Lucha Libre wrestler could be my mentor, I would love that. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
You want Crash or Wake.
I'll turn myself over to water Pokemon if he'll teach me how to like do spins like Mariposa. Like that sounds sick. Also, I don't.
He does have a cool gym too.
His gym is cool.
I also am not sure. I'm also not sure if I named an actual Lucha Libre wrestler or I named the Lucha Libre fighter from like Dead or Alive 2. So please forgive me, all the people out there, if I'm told. That's what I think.
Isn't Dead or Alive 2? Isn't Dead or Alive? I haven't played since college. That's the one with all the like busty babes who like have like realistic like
boob physics.
Physics.
Yeah. You're so kind because you have a small child. It's boob physics, Tanner.
Yeah, I had a colleague in college who played a lot of that game, if you know what I mean.
Colleague.
Yeah.
A colleague. And then like Master Chief was there too, and I'm just like, okay, sounds great.
It was that generation's Fortnite. They just brought anyone into that game. They're like, yeah, Master Chief's here, Boba Fett.
I think Yoda. No, that was
this guy's got a hamburger for a head.
That was Soul Calibur. That wasn't. So no, you were right.
Oh yeah, Soul Calibur when they threw
Link
into it and everyone was shook, including me.
You thought about taking up Soul Calibur at that moment, Josh?
I
you
obviously did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voldo feels like a Pokemon that should be on the man team.
Oh,
like he's not a man, but he's also definitely not a. He's not a man, but he might be a Pokemon.
He's a nightmare. He's like a Cenobite. He's like a nightmare. Like he's got spike hands. Well, they're not really hands. He's got like little half moons.
Little blades.
Voldo was my go-to. Voldo and the guy who had the little like.
I hated Voldo.
The little fencing saber.
Yeah,
the fancy boy.
I did like the fancy boy.
Yeah, those are my go-tos.
Can I do a breaking news bulletin from Diamond just to talk about Fatina really quickly?
It's our hot news segment. It's called Breaking News Bulletin with Eric.
Alert the Pokemon News Press.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'm here in Pokemon Diamond, here at Hearthhome City, where Fatina was actually my fifth gym.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So I looked up the difference between our different hearth homes, and you had like a maze, like a spooky maze.
Yeah, with the flashlights.
Yeah.
The gyms are different too, yeah.
Mine was, I had to ride a really, really slow elevator.
Okay.
And then I had to do a math problem.
What was the math problem?
And there were 3 different choices I could do, and it was either the left door, the middle door, or the right door. And I had to do the math problem and get it right, and then I would go to another lift, which then I would have to do another math problem. And I would go to the left and the middle or the right. And I did this 4 goddamn times, but the problem is that there weren't that many trainers on my way from, because I did the opposite way. Like once you get past the hotel and you go back to Hearthhome, then there's not that many trainers. So I had to go to each one of these trainers and tell them that I didn't know how to fucking add. And that's why I went in there, even though I just needed the XP. And I swear to God, one of the trainers in there said, wow, you didn't know how to do math? Or you did this on purpose? And then fought me with a ghost.
Didn't you know about the hot Pokéetch app calculator?
I mean, I think that was the implication.
I
but
actually
I did
just realized that's why they have it.
There.
I did it for the XP, but they were like, you did this on purpose. You're a fucking idiot. You have a calculator.
That's like some of the most meta I've ever seen an NPC go, because like obviously we're battling as many people as we can. We have to collect XP, but like
I always do.
They all seem so put off by it. They're just like, like
what are you, a loser?
Right.
You fought every trainer.
Not ready
in the
to
gym?
take on Fantina yet? It's like, no, I am. I just I want your XP.
Right.
I'm looking at the Bulbapedia right now, and they do recommend using the Pokéetch calculator app to get through this tricky puzzle.
The last question of the gym was, what was the answer to the first one? And I'm like, you guys couldn't come up with 4 math problems? You did 3 and you bailed? That's it?
So that you took on Fantina, how'd you do?
I was really happy with it because I had my Haunter, which obviously Ghost does ghost damage.
Oh, yeah.
So that was good. But I was much under-leveled. I was only at level, if I look at my Pokemon, my highest Pokemon was only 31. And I had like 30s and 29s and 28s, 27.
Oh, and what were hers in? What are they in Diamond?
Like 36.
32, 34, and 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tough.
So I got out with the skin of my teeth, and I was really proud of myself.
Joshua, back to Pastoria City and Crasher Wake. How'd you do?
Well, as you might imagine, this was a wash for
tough one.
him because I've got, at this point, a Leafeon and a Luxray. And that's all I needed.
Right.
I will say I like the gym setup is like a big swimming pool, and then it's got like layers that you have to change the levels of like boards to connect the rest of the platforms by hitting buttons, and then it will like raise the water levels, which I thought was cool.
It's cool. It makes it a pain in the ass to leave and go heal, which is a nightmare.
I didn't have to do any healing.
You didn't do any healing?
No.
No.
I think everything was a one-hit KO.
Well, la-di-da. Look at you finding the OP Pokemon type of the goddamn thing. Oh, I have an electric type. Oh, I just wanted to be easy. Blah, blah, blah. My name is Josh. I only like fancy Pokemon. Blah, blah, blah.
I did wait to raise Leafeon and Luxray so that they would cap out. Our level cap for the battle later was 37, and I wanted to try to get them to hit it in the gym, which they did.
Yeah.
What does he have? I'm trying to pull it up.
Crusher Wake has
Gyarados.
I see Gyarados, Quagsire, and Floatzel, but that's for Diamond, and I might just be like a buffed up version of that.
Platinum, he's got Gyarados, Quagsire, and Floatzel.
Yeah.
33, 34, and 37 respectively.
I guess the last thing I would say is that it's fun. Floatzel is like his signature because he sends it out last, and then when it comes out, because Floatzel's looking like it's doing this big like greeting.
It's like this. Hey!
Yeah, it's sort of like a Tony Soprano thing, and then like Wake's sprite comes back on, and he's like also like, hey!
Yeah.
And right next to it, I was like, oh, okay, that's
buds.
fun.
They're all
I like
buds.
this guy. I do like this guy ultimately. Yeah.
I do like this guy too. I would never want to apprentice under him. I think
I don't think I'm going to learn anything good.
Given all the, I guess
Gardania,
I suppose, is the one I'd want to apprentice under the most so far.
Tanner, how did you do against Crusher Wake?
I did fine. I had Rosalia, which was good, and then Snorlax has Thunder, as you know, which was also very good. Although Thunder only has 5 PPs.
Isn't it 10?
Maybe it's 10. I don't know. It was so little that I had to go and heal to recover PP.
That's right.
Which is a pain in this gym because you always have to like make these little bridges float and descend and ascend.
Yeah, and you don't want to use an ether in there.
Well, I don't even have any ethers. Ethers are one of those weird things where it's like super hard to come by because they don't sell them in any stores.
I stockpile them, and then I end up literally never using them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll save this for like the Indigo Plateau.
I think I had like
and then I just
2
never
ethers and 1 max
it.
ether, but I just wasn't willing to waste them on.
It's too scary.
Crasher Wake.
Definitely not for a gym.
So yeah, I beat him pretty easily.
You get the Fen badge, and you get TM55 Brine, which is pretty good.
Brine is a cool one. A couple of his Pokemon know it. It's like a thing where
it inflicts 65 damage by default. It's water, but its power doubles to 130 when the target is or below 50%.
It's pretty good.
I'll be curious to see if either of you used it.
I hope I didn't teach it to any Pokemon.
Yeah, I bet you did. I didn't. And maybe this will bite me in the ass in the battle, but I don't know that Bree Van Durr can commit yet to Golduck being her long-time water Pokemon, and she has a lot of interested clients in that gem.
Right. They want to pluck that little gem out and eat it so they can get boners.
Well, everyone's putting it into their foreheads these days.
Eric, do you recall your time spent with Crasher Wake? How'd you do with him?
I did like that. I liked the puzzle as children's puzzles go that make me feel insecure. I really liked it. Crasher Wake was very fun. Now, I don't know if this is just something that happened in Diamond. I don't know if this happened in Platinum. But did you not see the part where he was explaining Brine and then he pulled out a barrel of pickles and just fucking housed them in front of you? Did you not?
They used up like half the cart on that like animation.
They were really dedicated.
It had
to
like
that.
colors I didn't see. It had like colors and ray tracing that wasn't in the rest of the game. And I don't know, is that just a Diamond thing or was that in Platinum?
No, that was in Platinum too. Yeah.
Oh,
they used up a lot of RAM for that. Yeah.
I just didn't know if you guys also had that experience or if that was just me. And like they also spent a lot of time making sure there was a voice line that was much better than everything else. That was like, good pickles. Yeah.
Like fully realized HD audio of
it was like
the first time they ever did it.
Yeah. No, I saw that too. Very interesting.
Wow.
Very interesting choice, Pokemon.
No.
That's it. That's the leg, Josh. That's the leg, Eric. We did it.
Let's do it.
It was a hell of a run, hell of a Pokemon episode.
Oh, yeah.
All that's really left to do, gentlemen, is battle for supremacy now.
Let's do it.
As you know, Eric, I hope you know this. You agreed to it. You signed the NDA and the contract. We're going to battle to see which podcast is the supreme Pokemon podcast. I know you don't. Your podcast is not a Pokemon podcast. It's a D&D podcast. But whoever wins has to hand over the podcast, the socials, the audience, everything to the other person.
That's our thing.
That's fine. Well, hey, fellas, why don't we kick it up a notch? How about the loser needs to live on the next bus? I found it. They left it behind Rob Drydeck's massive house that he gets for all the residuals.
It's just been idling there for 25 years.
I know. There's still a guy named Chet there.
It's electric now.
Yeah. Chet is still there, and he still has not been next, so you have to live with Chet.
Before we get into the battle, I suppose we should talk about our teams, because I got some new men this week, some new human men.
I have a couple of evolutions.
And then I'm very curious to see what Eggs is working with.
Eggs.
Yeah, what's in that scramble?
Do we want to do level check?
Let's level check.
All right, Eric, I would love it if you would kick us off.
All right, well, I have my Haunter, who I named Spooksy with 3 X's.
Ooh, sexy.
Level 37 holding the spooky plate. I have Gyarados, who I named Catfish, who's holding the shell bell. I have a Kadabra that I named Kazaa. I did not name it that. I traded him at shop all the way back in like where Roke lives. And was slowly getting him happy. I have a Graveler named Roxy, only 2 X's. I have my Infernape, which is Blazzy, with 3 Z's, just because I felt like it. And my Golduck is Ducks with 3 X's.
So many X's.
There's so many X's, so many Z's.
Joshua, tell me about Bree Van Durr's team this week.
Yeah, it's largely the same. There are just a couple of upgrades. And once again, I'll kind of be, if I make it to face off against Eric, we'll have a couple of duplicates, which happened to me last week with David. I will say, and Krogunk obviously was something I was thinking about. Fortunately, it didn't happen. There will be some changes in the next week, but I think you're seeing the pinnacle of this version of the team, which I am happy to see. Okay. Bree Van Durr, who is the world's most renowned Pokemon breeder, has found a couple of interested clients in some of her current batch.
Yeah.
So we might see a couple of departures.
Okay.
That's just how it goes, and it's something she's used to.
You can't. There's no attachments in this biz, No. You can't get too attached.
Bonzo, Infernape, 37.
I used to work near Union Square.
Oh.
And every day I would walk through Union Square to go get lunch.
Heard of it.
And there was a man who was often dressed like a monkey.
Okay.
Doing like stick dancing.
New York, baby.
And he was dressed like an Infernape. I'm now realizing.
Literally?
I don't think literally, but like...
That seems kind of niche.
I don't think literally, like his hair wasn't on fire, but like... he looked a lot like Infernape. And I'm wondering if it was an intentional choice on his part.
Oh, you know what, Tanner? We have met before. That was me.
Yeah. I was trying to be very subtle. I was like, oh, I saw this guy, Winky.
Yeah, you didn't see because it's a podcast, but Tanner was pointing at me the entire time with both pinkies. He was just like, it was fucking you, but he did it silently while he was saying that.
Okay, Infernape, level 37.
Yep. Simba, Luxray, know him, love him, level 37. Mm-hmm. Silver, Staraptor.
Staraptor.
It's finally here.
Finally.
Tanner, I'm pleased to show you my Staraptor.
Please no.
It's beautiful. This is a well-preened fucking bird.
What a beaut.
Yeah, look at that fun feather on
this thing right now. What a beaut.
Yeah.
That's a pretty bird, I feel like I should say.
You disagree? You don't think it's pretty?
Listen, I already took off my shoes. What is the least I could say is say it's a pretty bird.
You don't know what happens if you don't agree that it's a pretty bird.
Yeah.
It's going to kick your ass because you don't have anything that can deal with flying in your battle is what's going to happen.
Josh goes onto the internet and hacks into the mainframe and rips my RSS feed out by its hair.
It's level 37.
Yep.
Scrooge, Golduck, level 37.
In it for the long haul.
And Lola Bunny, Lopunny, also still here.
Hachi Machi.
I will say... There's a buyer who's very interested in
Lopunny,
and this might be the last that we're seeing of Lopunny.
It's weird that Josh kept pointing to himself while he was doing that. He was like a buyer, and he was like, right here, baby. But you didn't see that because it was a podcast.
That Dr. Footstep made some good points.
Yeah.
And,
have you noticed Josh has been different? Yeah, he went to Dr. Footsteps, and he came back changed.
Yeah. I think everyone comes back from Dr. Footsteps a little different.
you're never the same after there.
That's my favorite Van Halen song. It's one of their later ones, but it's like, Dr. Footsteps changes your life.
And then last one is Mitchell the Leafeon, 37.
Steve Human is my guy.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's a human man, and he's not a Pokemon trainer. He's just a guy who's on an epic road trip across Sinnoh, picking up drinking buddies along the way. Picked up a couple new drinking buddies this week, but let's revisit some of the old drinking buddies. We've got Ms. Coheed, Snorlax, level 37. Ms. Dunn, Alakazam, level 37. Ms. Applebaum, Rosalia, level 37. Ms. Taylor, Licky Licky, level 37. A lot of Mrs. I'm realizing.
Yeah, you're finally balancing out the gender dynamics.
Yeah.
That's good.
Steve Human's like, yeah, he has a lot of female friends.
It's funny when you said Licky Licky, because have you watched the Poke Rap that Brian David Gilbert has put together?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Today, my peers will stop laughing at me. Today, they will start seeing me as a person who is worthwhile, not someone who, in the words of my mother, puts a lot of research into things that have very little meaning. They'll see me as an artistic genius, that's right, and incomparably handsome. That's the other thing. I forgot to mention that little part. This magnum opus, I have unraveled and shall perform the perfect Poke Rap. Let's go!
So when you said Licky Licky, I remembered all the times where I'm walking around my apartment or washing dishes or doing something, and I'm just like, licky tongue and licky licky, and like washing dishes. I catch myself just saying it to and it's like you activated a code word. It's like I became the Winter Soldier, and I'm like licky tongue and licky licky, and then I shot everyone with an A6 with like an M15.
The last two newcomers to the team, to the road trip, are
Right, because they're all human friends.
Ms. Poston, Toxicroak, level 37, named after @Al Poston on Twitter.
Okay.
And Mr. Grogan, who I talked about a little bit last week, but now he's officially on the team because he's finally a human. Dusclops, level 37.
Wow.
Named after @Carnictus on Twitter.
Okay.
One of our oldest bug catchers, Owen. He's been with us since the very beginning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mr. Grogan.
Welcome, Mr.
And
Grogan.
welcome, Miss Poston.
Yeah.
Poston?
Poston.
Toxicroak. I'm excited to see that on the field.
Yeah. Alexander stressed to me that it does not rhyme with Boston. It's Poston.
Poston.
Yeah. What happens next, gentlemen, is that we battle.
Should I go again and do a longer introduction of my team? I didn't know we were going to like introduce each one of them like they were drag race contestants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should have like created a lot of pomp and circumstance around all of them, but now it's too late.
Tanner's introducing his like good friends, so his always takes a long time.
These are some of my best friends in the world, Eric.
Apparently they're all Mrs. Not Mrs., not Miss, but Ms.
Oh, they're all unattached. Yeah.
It's ambiguous if they're in a relationship or not, because that shouldn't dictate what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Let's battle. Joshua, I think you and I should face off mano-a-mano to begin with to determine who the champion of Experience Share, a Pokemon podcast, is.
Yep.
And then the winner of that battle should take on Eric. What do you think about that setup?
That's good. I mean, currently the champion of Experience Share is David Sims.
Yeah. So you're going to have to...
So maybe I can get it back.
You're going to have to
maybe
wrestle
one
control
of
the
us can get
podcast
it back
from him,
at least.
Eric, if you do win.
Sure. This is like a skins game? Am I going to get blank check after this?
I think so. Yeah. At least the Patreon.
Yeah, I think that's how it would work. Yeah.
Let's take a pause here so that people don't have to listen to us looking at Pokemon Showdown for 20 minutes. And we will revisit you, bug catchers, once the dust has cleared from my battle with Joshua in just a few minutes. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Round 1 fight.
Joshua.
Oh my god.
Hell of a match.
That was one of our, I mean, maybe the most climactic battle the two of us have had, actually.
It really seemed like I had it in the beginning, but then I don't even know who did it. Was it Golduck?
Yeah, I taught
Blizzard.
Absolutely.
Respete once again to Gringus D. I taught Golduck Blizzard because he, in last episode, was wiping the floor with me with his Golduck having Blizzard. So I flew over to the Veilstone department store at one point, and I got that TM, and I happened to get I froze Tanner's Licky on a Blizzard.
That was the swing.
I think that was the linchpin because it turned around after that.
Yep.
I was down to 2 Pokemon, and you had 4, I think.
Yeah, but you've bested me once again. You have 1 living Pokemon, your Leafeon, your last hope, but luckily my Licky was frozen, so he couldn't do any damage to you.
Yeah.
Hell of a match. Once again, you reign supreme.
Good game. Eric, any thoughts?
It was an incredible match to watch, especially because Josh was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to throw in the towel."
Yeah, you did say that while we were battling.
Yeah.
You got a real good look at Licky.
You
said,
almost
Licky is too sexy.
Yeah, I almost forfeit.
Wow. Yeah, you did almost concede at one point, Josh.
Well, the floor was getting fucking wiped. You got what was your really killer move where you used me first?
Oh yeah, me first. Licky
my Infernape, who was using
first.
close combat.
Me first, the way it works is if you're about to get attacked by an attack move, you steal the move and do double damage. So
right.
Hell of a move.
You wipe the floor with him. I had Staraptor was barely even on the map because you thundered it with Snorlax.
Yeah.
When I thought I would be able to get a close combat in first.
You still pulled it out though.
Yeah, good one.
Now you have to take on Eric. Please don't lose our podcast for us again, Joshua.
We could get it back finally.
You're carrying the torch for us now. So we're going to hit pause once again, bug catchers, and we will be back in a moment to let you know what the results of this next battle are. Goodbye.
Round 2 fight.
Wow, Joshua.
I mean, I'm so sweaty.
Walk me through that journey you just went on.
The turning point was once again, I had I think 2 Pokemon. I mean, it really came down to
you pulled
one
it off
this time.
It was all hope was lost.
Yeah.
You had 1 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Eric still had 4 Pokemon, or maybe 5, and you had 2. And then it went down to 4 and 1, and you somehow managed to pull it off because your what was it?
Well, the turning point began.
Simba had a special move.
It was
the turning points were that.
Oh no, Bonzo had Shadow
Luxray facing Graveler, and I was like, I can't keep. We had a juggler thing going on. We both kept swapping, and then I was like, I just can't anymore. And then I just used Swagger with Luxray on Graveler. He hit himself.
Yeah,
I got a bite in. Then Simba died to an earthquake. Then I brought in Infernape because I was down to nothing. I literally only had Infernape at that point.
Yeah.
But Infernape secretly has Shadow Claw,
which decimated Eric's psychic and ghost types.
There are some really key things where I fucked up. Was that my Gyarados didn't do an Aqua Tail at one point?
Yeah, Aqua Tail missed, which was bizarre.
Oh yeah, big miss.
I did Rock Blast, which only hit you twice.
Right.
And it took out, and with only twice, it hit you for 46% of your health.
Yeah.
But I still lost, but that's it. That's when it all started unraveling, and Shadow Claw one-shotted my Kadabra, one-shotted my Haunter.
Because mine, I guess, is slightly faster.
And then it was Infernape on Infernape, and close combat got me both times.
Yeah, Josh's Infernape is just slightly faster.
Good game, Eric. I also thought you were going to win, but I can't say I'm not pleased to have wrested back the title of ownership of my podcast.
Hell of a match, Joshua. Thank you for defending the podcast's honor.
The games that we played here were incredible, and on the field of battle is where we find ourselves in our truest form. And goddamn, that was
and
really
my
good.
truest form is Chet, and I'm here to date your mom.
Well, Chet, we looked in your room and you have a lot of weird shit in there.
Thank you for joining us, Eric. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Last chance for promotion.
Tell us where bug catchers can find you and where they can listen to you do podcasts.
Yeah, well, I threaded it so nicely in the beginning. I need to do it now. You can find me on Twitter at L_Silvero, EL_SILVERO. My name if I was a Lucha Libre wrestler. You can find me DMing Join the Party, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game, which I think is the best sounding, most accessible D&D podcast out there. That's just what I think. I think that you'll enjoy it as well. And you can also find me streaming with my partner Amanda at House Breakfast, which is twitch.tv/House Breakfast.
Great.
Joshua, where can people find you on the internet?
Wow, we never do that. Well, at Josh Fjellstad on everything, but you have to know how to say that last name, not let alone spell it.
Yeah.
FJELSTAD.
Tricky that you made that your personal brand, given how difficult it is to spell and say.
Yeah, and as I've said, my gamer tag is also Fjellstud, which is a bad pun on my own horrible, confusing name. I just steered into it at a certain point, you know? I was like, I can't get away from this.
Yeah.
So, And Tanner, where can everyone find you?
Wherever. I don't really use social media, so you can follow me at Green Ring on Twitter if you want, but I almost never tweet, so you're probably going to be pretty disappointed.
Still have more followers than me, though, confoundingly.
I'm much more popular.
It's because you don't say anything. That's actually better.
I guess you can listen to my other show.
Yeah, that's probably what you should promote. Yeah.
Hey, what if I want to next this show? What other show should I listen to?
Well, you should listen to Babysitter's Club podcast. Hell of a show.
It is, yes.
No longer about the Babysitter's Club. Was for many years, but we ran out of books. So now we just talk about any old babysitting property we can get our hands on.
The concept of babysitting.
Last week it was season 2 of Stranger Things. This week it was Mrs. Doubtfire. The week before it was Cormac McCarthy's The Road. So
nice.
Jesus.
It's been pretty wild. It's been a wild ride recently.
It's quite a spectrum.
Yeah. Joshua, Eric, thank you so much for joining me. Bug catchers, thank you for joining all of us. It was a hell of an episode, hell of a couple of battles.
Yeah, and we will, we never say that, and sometimes we forget, but we will remember this time because it's in the tape. So when I edit it, I won't forget. We put the uploads of the Pokemon Showdown battles on the follow-up to the level check threads on Twitter, which is at EXPSharePod on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Damn.
And then there's the subreddit, reddit.com/r/bugcatchers.
Next week, we have a journey in front of us, Joshua, to get to Canalave Gym.
Yes.
Where we'll be taking on a Pokemon trainer.
Byron, gym leader Byron, who is Steel type.
Okay. This has been Experience Share Pokemon Podcast. My name, as always, has been Hip Hopatan, a.k.a. Tanner Greenring. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Chatosh, a.k.a. Joshua Fjellstead. And a very special thank you to Eric Silver, a.k.a. Garafferic. Please do go check out his entire podcast network.
Multitude.
But specifically, join the party, his D&D 5e podcast. Please do rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. I always say that. I always beg you to do it. I always say all of this too, but please do it. It is crucial to us finding success and our podcast being popular and us quitting our jobs and being professional podcasters for the rest of our life, like Eric.
And just playing Pokemon.
Haha, living the dream. I've been sitting on a gold chair this whole time, speaking into a ruby microphone. You just didn't see it. That's why I sound so good. It's
made
the
of those
metals.
Golduck gems.
Please do follow us everywhere that you follow podcasts, Twitter and Instagram. We are at EXPSharePod. That's it, Joshua. I will see you next week. Eric, we hope to have you on again someday.
Yeah, that was a blast. Thanks for joining us.
I will see you whenever that happens, probably next gen.
Some game. We got plenty of them.
I'll be back, man.
Thank you both for joining me. Bug catchers, goodbye. See you next week.
Bye.
Smell you later.